Hi everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and I am in Buffalo, New York, and I'm with Shane from the Buffalo Naval Park. He is the director of their collections, and you can see in the distance some of the larger ships that they have in their collections, so we have individual videos on the channel for each of those, but today we're taking a look at one of their smaller boats here, so tell us about this one.
Yeah, and this is a pretty unique vessel. This is a PTF, all right, Patrol Torpedo Fast boat, and it's PTF 17. Now everyone knows the John Kennedy PT-109, that's the World War II version. This was the Cold War Vietnam era version. And what's unique about the PTF-17 is that she was the first one constructed based on a Norwegian design, first one constructed in America. So we would contract with Norway, they designed them, they built them, and then they would be shipped to America. Well, then a firm, the John Trumpy shipyard in Annapolis, Maryland, said, you know what, let's just buy their design and we can make them here. And so that became PTF-17. So the main thing of this, especially in the Vietnam War, was that it was for insertion and extraction of special forces. We actually sold it to the friendly Vietnamese, Southern Vietnamese forces, and they used it for about a year and a half, 2 years, inserting and extracting their own forces in Vietnam. And then when the loan was up, we took it back, and then we used it as a target of opportunity through the rest of another year or so. So in total, she spent 3.5 years in Vietnam, and then she came back to America, and if you can believe it, she was used to patrol the Great Lakes. So if you have any Canadian viewers, you know you guys are bringing a lot of illegal maple syrup down. So we needed all this firepower. And we had a 40 millimeter, we had 20 millimeter Oerlikons, and up at the front we had a 50 cal. And then I'm in the process of securing an actual 0.81 millimeter mortar system from elsewhere in New York State. And that will finish the complement of the guns and the weapons platform on board. She is made out of all wood, all different types of wood, maybe 7 or 8 different types of wood. There would be about 16 to 18 crew on board, a few officers, and then the rest is enlisted guys. And you know, it's down below, it's not available yet, but everything, the bones are still there. So she had Napier Deltic engines, 2 engines that turned the props, and the top speed was about 49 knots or so, so pretty quick.
Yeah. And
after she was done protecting the Great Lakes, we secured her here in 1979. So we got her shipped here in 1979, and we just have actually finished a 3-year preservation phase. So that's why she looks as good as she does right now, and just freshly painted. You know, the winters here in Buffalo are pretty rough, and you just get the wind and the ice and the snow. Not great for a wooden hulled boat or the deck, but we're very proud of that we have this in terms of, you know, we've got the sea going. And this is part of the Brown Navy, right? The riverine work, coastal defense, and coastal insertion and extraction. One thing, though, that curators will go through is you'll see the emblem, right? That nice wolf howling at the moon or the sun. Her original emblem has the wolf facing just forward. So the guys who helped preserve it said, we're going to take a little leeway here. We'll tell Shane after the fact. And so they made it like it's barking at the moon. And then all of a sudden I come in one day and there it is like that. And I said, well, that's not the original emblem. And so there it is. But it's a great, they did a great job with it, even if it's a little license that they took with her historicity.
So these would have operated primarily on like rivers in Vietnam, and
correct.
Just fast in and out type of operations,
yes.
Not necessarily trying to go up against like other ships or something of that nature.
Correct. In World War II, the PTs did, but they also had torpedo tubes.
Right.
PT, right? Patrol torpedo boat. Even though they're PTFs, they never carried torpedoes, but they just kept the nomenclature. But if you think about movies like Apocalypse Now and things like that, where they are traversing up a river and there's enemies on both shorelines, right? That's what this weaponry would have been used for, to protect yourself as you're going. They wouldn't have really worked in packs, but in World War II, again, they did. You would have PT attacks, maybe 10 to 15, and they'd launch their 2 torpedoes and get the hell out of there, things like that. So different mission platform and package for this vessel, but still bringing chaos to the enemy.
Because they're wooden, how many of these survived? Is it harder to find these today? Just because I imagine compared to the steel ships, they don't last as long typically.
You're very true, Joshua. And it's kind of murky right now. I believe there's one on display. I think it's PTF 3, but don't ask me where it is on display, maybe California. And I think they are now beginning to restore PTF 26. And so that might be on display at some point, but don't quote me on that, everyone. You can do your own research. But I think that would be, there's a total, I think there was about 26 made total. 20, actually, now that we talk about it, 23 are wood hulled, 3 are steel hulled, but still a PTF boat. And out of those 26, 3 are potentially on display.
Because of the fact that it was used by the South Vietnamese government, is it difficult to find a lot of records of kind of its actual service?
It is. For this, I have relied on online resources of people that have served aboard. There are some PTF websites out there that will talk about every PTF, and that's done by a PTF association or the guys. I've never met a crewman who served aboard in my 7 years here, nor do we have records of her work. So it's all listening to stories and reading stories online from people that are reliable sources, right? Maybe they served aboard or were an officer on board, but I don't have anything in the collections itself.
Sure. Yeah, well, it's still a really interesting addition to the collection. It's great to see that it's been worked on recently. So yeah, really preserved very nicely.
I really thank those guys, even if the emblem's a little different. But they did wonderful work. Can't thank them enough. And because we have so many disparate vessels, it really is important to have a very strong volunteer base here.
Yeah.
Because we just can't do all the work ourselves.
And viewers might have noticed a few other pieces in the collection back here. So just real quick, what are a few of the other things that, you know, in addition to obviously these incredible ships that people can see here at the museum?
Yeah, so we have a Voodoo, an F-101 Voodoo in the distance. We have a Fury jet right here, which was the U.S. Navy's version of a Sabre jet from the Air Force. We've got a Bulldog tank right there. We've got for some reason, we have a pedestal 3-inch 50, just one. We have a Nike missile. You know, as every area in the country, I think we had in Western New York, we had 7 Nike bases here. So that's with its stand and mount. Then we have a Huey helicopter, another symbol of Vietnam. And the Hueys were constructed here in Buffalo.
Oh, neat.
Right, with the Bell Aircraft Corporation. And then right down below, we have another missile right there that you can just barely see from the U.S. Army.
So a nice variety here, kind of, there's something for everyone.
Yeah, basically, yes.
Else.
We got the ships, we have a tank, you know, right. We have the PTF that people really seem to enjoy looking at from a distance. So yeah, there's a lot of things to see and a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah, perfect. So for people who want to learn more about those stories and come visit you, what's your website and where can they find you online?
Sure, yeah. Our website is buffalonavalpark.org. We also have a pretty large YouTube presence, which is you could just go to YouTube and search Buffalo Naval Park. And I actually do a video of the interior of the PTF.
Awesome.
To get that out into the public. And certainly Instagram, Facebook, just search the handle Buffalo Naval Park and you should come up with them.
Fantastic. So for everyone watching, we'll make sure to have a link to the website in the description below. We can also link to that video you mentioned, so we'll have a link to the interior shots as well from your YouTube channel.
Thank you.
So you can check that out and kind of get a more well-rounded picture of what the PTF looks like. But As always with these videos, I always recommend coming and seeing it in person is by far the best experience. So if you ever have the opportunity and you're coming through Buffalo, New York, make sure you stop by. And what are your typical operating hours and kind of seasonal hours that you run here?
Thanks. Our seasonal hours are usually we open in March and we're open until about Thanksgiving. 7 days a week from April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and then we begin to go on weekends in November, and then we open up again in mid-March.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks so much, Joshua.
Make sure to come check them out. Thank you.